What's up, everybody? We're a band called Condado. That means county in Spanish. And this first song is called Young Lungs.
De mis pulmones, con mi alma tan frágil que se quebraba cada vez. Es que no sabes que existe. Don't be so nonchalant to me. You always told me not to read into things like this, but you make things easy. Now I'm the self for you to see. I've been getting better. Solo quiero saber, compadre, cuánto te cuesta decir la verdad, a cuánto te cuesta joder tus mentiras. Viendo luces, y honestidad, nunca pedí que me trataras dulce. Don't be so nonchalant to me. You always told me not to read into things like this, but you make things easy to me. Now I'm a self for you to see, and I'll be getting better.
What's going on, guys? It's the Next Up podcast. You know what it is. We got our boy Simon the Film Man, or whatever. You already know. Your host. Hey, you know how it is. We got our boy Young BLOCCO in the back,
or whatever.
Hey. And then, you know, your main dude, your main host, Ezra the actor. You know how it is. And so today we got some very special guests. We got on Condado, and these are the boys right here. We just had a huge jam session. I'm hype as hell. Y'all are lit as fuck. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Man.
Shit. Introduce yourselves.
Yeah, come on, go ahead.
So, my name is Alberto Velasquez, but everybody calls me Birdie. They've been calling me that forever, so Birdie.
I'm Josh Reed. I play lead guitar in the band, and I ain't shit.
I'm Anant Singh. I play drums.
And I'm Jay. I play bass guitar. So
Yeah.
You look like a bassist.
hey, you wanna know what's crazy is that actually in the first progression of this group, I was actually the drummer.
Oh, really?
And you know, things happen, so we got a better drummer.
Shit. And I was gonna ask, like, the first thing I wanted to know was, like, obviously y'all are like really talented individually, but where do y'all think is like the balance of y'all success as far as like chemistry? Like, do y'all think y'all could do the same thing that y'all are doing based solely off talent, or?
I think that the chemistry is the biggest component because I would argue that compared to people who do music and like all they do is music, like no day job or nothing like that, they are way nicer at what they do than what we're doing right now. If anything, the chemistry, I feel like, and also the rhythmic tightness and our ability to write cool songs is what's really putting us on the map in terms of being like local indie and emo like success. You know, it's less about the talent and more about the chemistry.
Yeah,
Another thing about chemistry, me and Javon grew up in High Point together, and I think we've known each other for
It's been 14 years.
14 going on 15 years.
Yeah.
I think we've played together for like 10.
Yeah, 10.
Played together for 10. And I don't know, it's different. Like there's been time we used to play for a church, and there was times where like we could look at each other and just lock in.
Yeah.
And like you don't got to say anything.
Musical
Because he would be on drums and I'd be playing guitar and whatnot. And if I wanted to take the song up another notch, I just have to look at him and give him a nod, and he's on.
Now, in retrospect too, with like us playing in churches, you know, we've seen multiple musicians come in and out. So like we've played with plenty of people before, but a lot of people that we've played with haven't had the communication that we can have as this group that we have now. So.
Well, then speaking of which, how did Anunt and Birdie end up coming into the play, since y'all were already, you know each other for 14 years?
Back in 2016, I think, I was at a Guitar Center, and I see this guy like wearing all denim, everything, playing like a Hozier song. I'm like, like, I'd obviously my first impression is like, you know, dreadlocks, tatted up, crazy, and he's over here like singing like the most beautiful, like white bitch getting music, like, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. So I started talking to them, and I was with my buddy Aaron, and Aaron is a good friend of mine that I've been you know, hanging out with and making music with forever. And we're like, yo, let's go to the acoustic room, let's like jam or something. We just went in there and just started like playing some stuff. And we exchanged information. I was like, yo, like hit me up, let's like try to jam or something. Bro, I kid you not, like a year and a half passed by, and like throughout that whole year and a half, it's just me and Josh be like, hey, you free? Yeah, bet. Or like, hey, bro, you trying to come over? I'm like, yeah, bet. I'm like, okay, what's good? And he's like, no, sorry, like, you know, we just kept on like canceling on each other. I was playing music with our former bandmate Kevin and his brothers, and their brothers got into like some trouble, and their dad to like kind of like crack down on them, was like, hey, y'all got to get your shit together. And we kind of saw that as a way that they weren't necessarily like super focused about it at the time. I'm not going to say that they weren't like serious, but like, you know, they were pursuing their like social life and like getting out into like moving away from North Carolina. Now they're in LA doing like really cool stuff. But Kevin and I looked at each other, and we were like, bro, we got to find some people to make this music stuff happen with, because like it's just not happening. And it was like 2 a.m. I messaged this dude, and I'm like, bro, please, like, just get your boy and like let's meet up and let's do this. And he was like, I got keys to my church, let's go right now. And I pulled up to High Point. Kevin had to go home, but it was us 3, and pulled up to High Point. We went into the church and we wrote Army Jacket, like one of the songs that we played like for the sound check.
So you pulled up to High Point at 2 a.m?
Yeah.
You dangerous.
I ain't scared of shit. But
get out there.
I'm like, bro, this is what I gotta do. Like, if I don't do this now, it's never happened. So down the road, Kevin saw his way out of the band. You know, he had some very strong religious pursuits he felt like he needed to fulfill, and he had wanted to pursue a military career, start a family. They really just do like that full American blast shit. And I was like,
where's my Camaro?
I hope no, I still keep in touch with him. You know, it's peaceful, but obviously like he felt like it was just not a good fit for him anymore. And so we were trying to look for a bass player. We auditioned some people. Nobody was really clicking like that. What's up, AC? Finally, AC.
Some air, goddamn.
Yeah, the songs we played were too fire. It got too hot. But we were looking for a bass player. We auditioned some people, and it just was not working. And Javon was already writing some music on bass for like the new songs that we were coming up with. And Anunt was already somebody that I knew because he graduated from the same high school as me, but like way before I did. And he would like tech our drum line and like stuff like that, come like help out with that. And he had already known that I would ask him to fill in case Javon couldn't play drums on a gig.
Right.
So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, bro, like, you know, we recently had some like stuff change up in the band. Are you trying to do this? And he was like, you mean fill in? I'm like, no, like do this. And he was like, I mean, I guess. And so he started learning some of the material that was already out. He posted a cover on Instagram, and I showed them. I'm like, bro, this dude's good. Like, y'all gonna meet him. He's like kind of reserved, but like he like really rips. I'm like, all right, bet. And Josh was living at a house in Greensboro on Haywood Street. We called it the Haywood House. We got a song called Haywood about like all the crazy shit that went on in the house. And we were at the Haywood House about to rehearse, and an aunt comes over, and we just ripped through like every song, and it felt pretty good.
Right.
It felt right.
Yeah.
Javon was a little hesitant because he's like, "Man, I'm gonna miss drums." And like, you know, it's kind of like,
I was the only other time I really picked up a bass was jazz band in high school, and you know that was like my only knowledge of bass. But throughout the years of like us playing as a group, we've all expounded onto like how to play along and off of what he's going off of. You know what I mean? So
And what's crazy is that the band format before, Javon was on drums. Josh and Kevin would actually switch back and forth between bass and lead guitar depending on the song.
Okay.
And one of the songs would actually rotate even further, and he would be on bass and Kevin would be on drums. Like everybody was just able to do everything, you know. And so
That's kind of lit.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
And we could probably still get away with doing that rotation now because Anant has enough like guitar skills to where he could play some pretty basic like stuff. Like if he needed to play bass on like one of the more mellow songs or something. But having Anant being the really powerful, really energetic drummer that he is, and just being like a human metronome, like the dude doesn't budge. It just really locked it in and kind of gave all the old stuff like this new just impact. It just hit so much harder than the original recordings. And yeah.
That is what's up, man. I hope y'all don't mind me asking, how old are each of y'all?
So I'm the baby of the band. I'm 24.
Damn.
26.
28.
and I'm 25.
Wow, that is crazy. How old y'all think the three of us are?
Bruh.
You're like 20.
Why y'all both
You gotta be the youngest one, bro. You gotta be the youngest one.
I don't know. I kind of think he by about like 6 months. You younger than him.
like 15 years. He's like, how old are you actually?
How old are you? You're like 33.
Bro, lie again, bro.
I'm 19 years old. I turned 20 in May.
Word.
So come on.
I'm 18. I'm the youngest.
Okay.
I'm 18 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to turn.
There's some grown ass men for being 18, bro. Grandpa over here is like, yeah.
Nah, but that's what's up though. I'm glad to hear about y'all chemistry and stuff like that. Simon, did you have anything to say on me and Zaire?
Actually, I was gonna talk about because y'all kept bringing up religion, and I know that culture is like a big part of what y'all do. Being is it Latino or Latinx? What's the?
I mean, I identify as male, so Latino is cool with me.
Or Latino. Well, being as a Latino band, like culture being that thing, how does like religion and your culture play into your band, into your music, and then also to like your image and like what you guys want to portray?
I'm gonna start with this one because weekly I play at a church actually around the corner, bass. So as far as what the scene entails, you know, not everybody's gonna be fond of it. So everybody's gonna have something to say. And they're gonna have their opinion on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me, I grew up in a minister's home, so I was always traveling the United States, you know, doing whatever, seeing the religious side of things. And then now being grown up and seeing the worldly side of what, you know, this place really can entail. It is really kind of an internal battle, I'm not gonna lie. As far as, one more time with that question so I can get the last end of that.
The last end of it, see, I forget shit easily.
I got you. Me too, bro. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what I wanted to get across was like the image that plays like y'all's culture. Like, how does that reflect in your band? Like, what image do you guys want to portray?
In comparison to culture and religion.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I mean, personally, you know, I give all thanks to the creator, whoever that is. You know, I'm not a pusher onto people as to like, there's a God and you need to follow him. No, I'm not like that. As far as how it utilizes us in the scene, I don't know how they feel about the creator as of now, but they are good people enough to be able to like converse and
Have a civil conversation.
Yeah, civil conversation. You know what I mean? And we don't keep the judgmental eye.
I was gonna say because y'all are pretty diverse. Like all y'all, it's like it's a very,
you know. I think as far as your beliefs go, is it like not like fully?
I don't believe. I'm not believing.
That's what
like,
I.
and I would say I'm the most towards that side of the spectrum of the group.
In the AI of the four of us.
But we can still all, coagulate and
Chop
get
it up
together.
and
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation just laugh about
So
it.
really, the answer to the question is I don't think it really has a huge impact on the music
Yeah.
or the image.
Yeah.
It's just not really what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
But the diversity is a thing because everyone can see it.
Yeah, the diversity I think is something that we don't market off of it necessarily, but people definitely notice it, and we take pride in being a diverse group of people of color that are doing this kind of music, because the first thing people are going to say is, y'all playing white people music.
Yep.
And I'm like, first of all, I need y'all to realize that us not being your average like white Caucasian American, us doing it makes it what we are. Josh playing guitar, he's a black guitarist. It's black music now, It's Latino music now. It's Indian music, It's also been black music, So people forget about the origins about all of it, So like,
Blues and all,
and so people that are raised thinking that the only cool way to approach like your music taste is to if you're like us, like listen to hip hop, listen to reggaeton, listen to this, us being Puerto Rican, it's just that's what's trendy, but that does not matter because we're making music that we have an emotional attachment to that rocks with us, grooves with us, etc. And I think as for the image, we just want to be a beacon to people that are like us, that look like us, growing up saying like, if I want to play rock music, like I'm gonna do it just because fuck it, like I can. Like I want to, nobody else is gonna tell me I can't because this is what I feel like is right for me. We want to be an ambassador for that more than anything, and everything else that's image is like aside, because like it's about that and the music, really.
That's definitely like admirable, because a lot of people be like scared to do some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they don't want to. They're scared. They always feel like they have to conform to some sort of image, but like it's important to get representation and shit to get away from the specific image.
Oh yeah, like you need the people that are willing to take the risk and do what they want to do with their art, regardless of who they are. If you want more people to,
You want better
think
art.
that,
Yeah.
Art should be inclusive, regardless of what.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Because for the longest time, the way I was raised, like shit, I don't even really know. I just know I was called an Oreo like all my life.
That's the one.
That shit is.
Yeah.
Actually, y'all talk about that. How do y'all feel about being called an Oreo and all that shit?
It's confusing, man, because you're just like I'm being myself, but you look at me and you think that I should act a different
Act a certain way, yeah.
and I don't act that way. And the way that you think I should, I'm the type of person, if you want me to do, I'm gonna do the opposite. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna do what you want me to do. I'm not gonna act the way you want me. I'm gonna, if it's true to me, then it's true to me. I'm gonna live that way. And a lot of people in the schools that we went to, like for me personally, I'm just gonna go on and say it, like trying to date and you listen to the music that we listen to and whatnot. For me, what I heard was, you're just too white for the black girls, but you're too black for the white girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
feel you on
it's
that,
and like as like harsh as that is to just say now that I'm an adult, I look back on it and I'm like, fuck all that, bro. I'm just being who I'm being who I want to be, bro. And if y'all don't like it, then I don't care. Like, it don't make me any different. But no, that's a confusing statement, especially when you're a kid. You're trying to figure out who you are, and everybody's just like, nah, but that's not you. Yeah.
I think that whenever he's talked about the dating thing, the first thing I remember is whenever I was listening to Tyler the Creator back when I was like a freshman in high school. He said the exact thing he said about being too black for them and too white for them in like a bar. And I was like,
oh, I know that. I know what
yeah. Of course, he said it like in his voice and everything, but like, but like the point being, it's like people that are into like the alternative that are not white often get held to this weird standard where it's like you're just in this gray area, but that's a bad thing. What the fuck is wrong with just being with the what you want to be? And like I know I had to deal with a little bit of that because in grade school when I was younger, I would always get pulled aside and be taken to like the academically gifted class or whatever, and I never saw any other like Latino or black or like any kind of other people that weren't white in there, and like all my friends that I would like play recess with and stuff like that, they wouldn't be with me throughout the school day. So I had this like detachment of like my identity. I know a nut can relate to that a lot as well.
Bro, I grew up upper middle class. All my friends were like white kids, and like I didn't know any different. And I was in gifted ed, I was in all that, but like all of my like the family connections we had in the community were all like white people who were like, you know, this person's the county commissioner, this person's the mayor. Like I knew all those people, and like I never strayed outside of that because I didn't know how or if I wanted to or whatever. Like it just was whatever. And then, really, honestly, when he asked me to join the band was when I was like, because I had identity crisis, like a foot in each world of like being at home, kid of like Indian immigrants, and then friend of like growing up basically white in the white culture. I'm like, I don't know what is confusing.
Because you can't bring that side over because then it's different, and then you don't want to make yourself different because then it gets all that.
Bro, I tried to blend in so hard. Dating was impossible because like I was not white. That was the problem. But ever since joining the band, they indirectly taught me like, fuck it, like just be like, just chill out and just be you. And that was like all the therapy I needed, you know.
Someone had to tell him that because he never heard it.
I never did, like you know.
So I was gonna ask, like, how do you feel like being raised that sort of way, like, affected your interactions with people of other cultures and ethnicities and shit like that? Like, was it like you kind of had like an uncertainty about interacting with people outside of what you knew?
Like especially your younger years, you know.
Oh, when I was really young, yeah, because I would just like, I think what would happen is like my parents knew their parents, and I would just gravitate towards them. I was never really like all these. I know Bertie for sure. Like he was friends with all the Hispanic kids and the black kids, and I just wasn't like, for whatever reason, and I didn't have a problem with it. But then I just had to learn to step into that world
and open up,
you know, and open up, and it literally just happened like 2 years ago.
Man, wow.
Damn. Look, I was gonna ask, like, how do you like go into that and like, because most people, I feel like when they don't understand something, they get very frustrated. When they get very frustrated, they tend to hate. So how did you not put hate out into the world with that? How did you not, like, you know, I know it sounds bad, like you're bad. No, I'm saying
I mean, I never wanted to hurt anybody. Like it's just that I think that's a product of how you're raised.
Yeah, home.
Yeah, and I had the most amazing, like I was silver spoon like kid, like just studied, do well, and I was a straight A student. I was just doing all this stuff right. Really, I think to answer a previous question, why I didn't like venture into it, it's probably because I was just like always told like typical Indian immigrant shit, like just focus on your studies. That's literally all that matters. And that's a very cultural specific thing. Like being smart is cool. Don't worry about shit else. And so all the other shit in my life was like underdeveloped. You know?
So just like you spend so much time doing that shit that you didn't even really have the time to open up to the other stuff.
I didn't have the time. Like I never got the chance to like, hey, maybe see if you like playing drums. You know? Like,
it's about not even having the perspective like suggested to you in the first place.
Yeah, but like, so can you repeat your question?
my question was, how did you not develop hate? Like, how did you not get frustrated with like changing? You're going from that world, or just like that confusion of living that dualistic life, and not channel that into hate towards others.
Oh, it was like the total opposite. It was like, oh wow, there's this shit that I vibe with, and other people who have the exact same experience as me. That felt so good to like feel that other people like they get it, and I didn't have to explain it constantly because I would have to do that. and that was just like emotionally tiring.
Yeah.
So I guess like for a nut specifically, because I know I could be a hothead sometimes about that stuff, like with some of the experiences and some of the things that, like I remember my freshman year, this one girl, her dad, like my freshman year of high school, her dad got her in trouble because he found out that she was dating a dirty Mexican, which I'm not even Mexican. I'm Honduran and Puerto Rican, and like I heard him say that from like up in like the home side stands of the stadium. And I heard him say, "Man, fuck you!" Like, I was like so mad. I was like, "What the hell does that have to do with anything?" But like I think for a nun, instead of lashing out in anger, it was more like I don't have time to put effort and emotion into this. And then once he found, a group of people that really just understood that off the rip, like he just kind of felt better.
I think at least like for what I can say in my experiences, at least when I was a kid and having to deal with race and stuff like that, there was a point in my life where I actually lived in Ohio. So you can imagine, black dude in Ohio. There's not many of them, right? But I was too young at the time. Like I barely even remember this stuff. But I went to this school. I still remember what it's called. It's called Shawnee. It was like an elementary school, and I was the only black kid there. Like. Only. Like I think there was like probably one other one there, but like the rest was just all white kids. And my teachers would like separate me from like other kids like in the class. I would like sit by myself and she placed me there. Like that wasn't even like the class was doing that. Like she just did that on her own.
The
and
whole assigned seat thing.
Exactly. And then would get me in trouble, and then my parents would have to go up there and they're like, "Oh, Ezra isn't making any friends and stuff like that." But it's like, you're the reason why he's not making any friends.
That was my experience. There's no Indian kids around, especially in the schools that we went to. And like there were Hispanic kids, white kids, black kids. That was pretty much it.
You didn't see a lot of Asian people.
And so I was like, well, what do I do?
What do I do?
Who do I associate with? Like, who do I find my
It was fucked up. Is like it's not even like on a thing of like race, because like what's so funny because when I was younger, I was kind of raised to I want to say not see colors, but like those divisions. You don't want to have that hardline division that black people are this, white people are this. But it's weird because our world is structured and built on that no matter how much you try to teach it, it's innate in us. Because it's like when you're a kid, it's like that's your culture. You're trying to find people who like the same shit as you. You're just trying to chill. You're a fucking kid,
Right. Yeah.
And then you try to find that, but it winds up just being the people who look like you, have those same experiences, which I don't know.
That's why I, say it's admirable for all of you guys to be able to come together in this type of group and this band and still have the chemistry that y'all do in different walks of life, different religions and stuff like that. And like, it's real dope that y'all could have all that and just be like friends. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all are friends at the end of the day. This isn't like just like, oh, I mean, we make music, but I don't really.
I feel like that's actually something that's been asked to me before. It's only been asked to me maybe twice. They're like, so with your band, are you like friends with them, or are they kind of like coworkers? I'm like, these are my brothers, dude. But I do know people that are in bands where like they're only together when it's time to do music. I'm like, bro, like I can understand that if I was like god tier guitar player or whatever other instrument I was gonna play, and I was just doing it to get a paycheck, like that's fine. Like I'll pull up, do my job, leave. But like this is my art. This is like lyrically collaborative experiences, pains, traumas, joys, whatever, just put into this. So like I gotta vibe with the people that I'm with, and this is like my family.
Absolutely. And I think what's cool is like even as different as we've all experienced our perspective of life, we've had like kind of relative experiences to be able to sit down and write the same kind of stories in different ways, like the Young Lungs, that being a rock song with Spanish words, like you don't really hear things along those lines.
In this scene specifically, obviously you got like famous like Latin rock bands, but like you don't really see like a lot of like emo or indie or whatever like subgenre of rock you want to classify us as, like doing the whole bilingual thing, but like doing it intentionally, and like really kind of trying to convey the story with a certain emotion by using different languages and stuff like that. You just it's just different. This is just my brothers.
Did you have some?
I was gonna say, have y'all ever, like, obviously people like have disagreements. Have you ever had like been at the point where it's like y'all are at a like disagreement with one another, but it's like you had to perform through it, or like how do y'all get through?
Yeah, I mean,
like
there's definitely been disputes, but usually I'm the type of person where if someone's like, we got to talk about this another time, or like, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, but we need to talk. Anxiety attack. I'm like, no, bitch, talk to me right now, please. like, let's chop it up. Let's go ahead and handle this. And so, usually it's either in the group chat or in person. But like, maybe there's just like, something's taking too long to happen, or like there's like a creative disagreement.
It's never nothing like really large to where like it puts us in jeopardy of what we're doing. We us being grown, we've learned how to conversate with each other to where like I might pick out a nerve, with one of you, but like I know it's cool with you because you're gonna pick right back at me. But that's just how we communicate, and at the end of the whole thing, we're gonna pick our insurance right back up. This is how it is.
That's what's up.
I can't think of a time though that like it happened before we've gone on stage or like before a show or anything like that. So I don't think we've ever had to like.
If anything, it's
be mad at one another while on stage, because I'm pretty sure we'd still try to squash it before we got up there.
Yeah.
But
if it ever did happen, we would not go up on stage with that bad energy. If anything, the bad energy before a show is always like, man, this crowd looks lame as hell. That's always uninspiring. But usually, the agitation or the bickering comes with like someone goofed a note like real bad in a song, and I'll just give somebody a look, or someone will look at me, and I'll be like, and then after the set, we're like, it was great except for that one thing, and then we're just like, and now we'll be like,
can't always be perfect.
It's never tempo. It's usually never tempo. I'll usually be like, that felt kind of slow. Then I'll hear it on the video and it's even faster than the recording. I'm like, my bad. Like, I'm good. It's always hindsight. It's never like beef with each other and then have to tolerate each other on stage. Because the stage is where we let all that shit go.
That's good, bro.
When it comes to the writing process of y'all songs, I'm curious because, obviously we just had a little sneak peek of a couple other songs. We'll probably be playing those in a second. But you said the one song was about something that you were going through, that was that sad song, right? Yeah. And, I'm thinking, okay, do all of y'all take time out to write songs that are specific things in y'all lives, things that y'all relate to, or how does that writing process go for all y'all?
In that situation with Everlast, I was going through a breakup is what that was.
Right.
I had actually sat down. It was one night. I wrote that song in one night. I sat down in a dark room with an acoustic guitar and just had an idea, kind of played, through it, wrote some notes on my phone. And I think the following weekend I went to them and showed them the basis of the idea. And once they hear the basis of it, then they all start to throw their creative aspect onto what is the idea. So I may come up with an idea, but it doesn't, sound as fully generated as it could be. And whenever we put all of our minds to it together, it just becomes the Condado energy that that we've built for the last couple of years. So
this one's sad as fuck. No. All right.
hear the light that crawls
state of mind tonight. I'll be alright.
I've been hyped this whole
Yeah, he hit that. Where are you? That's how you know it really hurt. Your voice just naturally does that when a song hurts that much.
With Lighter, A Lighter Will Burn a Bridge Fine. I remember we were trying to get that song like.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
Together, and then we were at the church. I don't think it was the same night. No, it definitely wasn't.
It was a different night, but it was still at the church, still late at night.
And it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And like we're all just sitting there. I'm fucking beat. I'm tired, and everybody's tired. And Birdie looks at me. He's like, because I wasn't good at like opening up and talking about shit. And that previous year, I was dating someone. We broke up. Right around the time we broke up, a friend of me and Javon's had passed away. And like during that time period, I just locked myself in my room, didn't come out for like a good 2 or 3 weeks. I was doing some shit I shouldn't have been doing. And really rough process to like talk about and open up about. And he was like, you're going to have to talk about it. Like if you want this to be a song, you got to
I literally looked at him, I'm like, you're going to have to tell me this story so I can try to put it into lyrics. Because like he was still kind of new to songwriting, whereas I had like a couple years under my belt, nothing that really took off.
And y'all were still relatively new
Brand
to
new.
each other.
Yeah, we were like weeks in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think it's funny because like the song is about an experience that he had, which, as he said, was breakup shortly after. Bless you. Shout out the dog. An experience he had, breakup. His friend passes away, and then said person from breakup tries to get back into his life to try to like support and be there for him. But he's like, nah, you wanted me gone.
Yeah. Right.
Now my friend's gone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. And that song, like before it goes into that instrumental insanity, it's just I say, leave me alone.
That's deep.
And leading up into that, he had some lyrics written down. And I think we only kept like the first 2 lines.
It was mad dramatic, so we were just like, nah.
I was like, you gotta be a little bit more like subtle with it. It is still pretty dramatic.
Yeah, I was just straight up like, nah.
Like emo bands, like that's
right, exactly. And like people
starting to go into heavy metal.
And that's the thing about the word emo. People hear emo and you think, I cracked the joke earlier. Where are you? They go like, which like is. I would consider that to be more in the realm of emo pop. Like, people can like argue till they're blue in the face on what's real emo, what's not. I call this emo because a lot of what came out in the past probably 5-6 years, especially out of Philly, there's a lot of bands up there that like have a certain sound, is the biggest inspiration for the way I write, and it lends itself to being very vulnerable with your lyrics, you know. But pretty much what happened was we kept like the first 2 lines, so this is it, the end of you and me and everything in between. And then we kind of tweaked some things, and then we got to like the build section where everything dies out and it's just Javon and I harmonizing and like playing the chords. And we're like, what do we need? And I just start like freestyling like lyrics and a melody. And I made it all the way until like the bridge section before everything starts going crazy. We're all like, write that down, write that down. Like, opening drawers, looking for pens.
You gotta be recorded.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily I remembered every single word I said, and it ended up just finishing out the song. And we're like, bro, like we were so tired. I'm like, you know what? I don't think it needs anything past that. I think we could just end the song instrumentally to kind of convey that emotion. Yeah. And that's exactly what we did. And so, Anant wasn't in the band at the time whenever that song was written, but whenever he joined, he kind of took the whole drum thing to like the next level. Yeah.
So yeah, the writing process is really different. You know, I think it just has to do with
song by song, really.
Through the song by song, through the years of like what we're doing, like what we're going through, and at the level of our conversation with each other, how can like as of recently things have been like writing has been really easy,
super easy,
because you know we've had COVID helped with that. I'm not gonna lie, we spent the last year, 2 years like
just meeting up, and someone would bring like pretty much like a 50 to 75% done idea, and we'd either be like, that's hot, or like, nah. Or like, this part is, this one's not, and just piece it all together like that. But, you know, it always starts with an idea, and a lot of the subject matter can range anywhere from, you know, nostalgia when it comes to Army Jacket. It's about when I was a freshman in high school, the whole school band went on a field trip to New York, and I started hanging out with this girl because she actually lost her chaperone and joined our group, and then I realized like her and I loved like the same like bands and stuff like that, and it was just like a 1 month just like the sweetest, most problem free thing ever, and it was just like just kind of fizzled out. You know, and then it ranges to like A Lighter Will Burn a Bridge Fine, where it's a really like tragic song talking about
opposite.
that. Or it could be a song like Big Iron, where I'm talking about an ex-girlfriend of mine's dad who, you know, is you know, rather physically and mentally damaged veteran, and I really wanted him to kind of live out his retirement dream about just taking his truck up to the mountains and camping. And it's pretty much about me wishing the best for him and the advice that he would kind of give to me, and me wishing the best for him regardless of the fact that I'm no longer dating his daughter. You know, like it could be random stuff like that. It could be about the house we used to rehearse at, where like it just smells like weed and our friends are chasing each other down the street being stupid. You know, like we just write about anything that kind of takes us back to a place.
I can obviously tell like y'all have like a lot of love in your hearts.
I was about to say y'all got hella chemistry, man. That is dope. Would y'all say, like, this is kind of going back on the emo thing, would y'all say that emo type music now is different than what it was like 20 years ago? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I mean, if you want to like be Wikipedia about it, like, you know, I guess our sound I would associate more with what people would call the fourth wave of emo, which was bands like Modern Baseball and Tiger's Jaw, and like a lot of these bands that are from kind of like the Northeast. There are some bands that have kind of spanned over that course of time, and their sound has evolved, or they were ahead of their time. Currently, I would say the fifth wave of emo is very much like recorded at your house. It low-key sounds kind of shitty, but it sounds like it's about to explode out of your speakers. The guitar work is like the most insane shit you've ever heard, and they're not scared to throw in like samples and synths and more interesting stuff. But it's just so broad, you know, like true like OG, like at the beginning emo was either true like screamo, where people are just like literally screaming, not like heavy metal scream, but like shouting like agony over like really like kind of post-rock kind of punk stuff. And then, or you have bands like American Football back in the late 90s, where it's all really beautiful twinkly guitars, and like the vocals are just kind of like slightly sad, really mellow,
croony.
Yeah, like just kind of like crying over it. But like,
does it sound like Green Day? Like, where are you?
So that is like early 2000s, and then you got like emo pop. You got like all like the Hot Topic t-shirts. You know?
That's what happens when you take that and mix it with pop.
And you make money off of it. That's the stuff that like makes insane amounts of money. The stuff that we're into is kind of more in the realm of independent, kind of underground artists. And really, it's funny, whenever I first met up with them two at the church, after the first meetup when we wrote that song, he was like, man, like, I've just never played music like this before. And I was like, all right, here's your homework. You're going to listen to you're going to listen to Joyce Manor, you're going to listen to Remo Drive, you're going to listen to Thin Lips, and you're going to listen to Pup. And those four bands. And I just told them, go listen to it. They're like, bro, this shit's so cool. But I was like, yeah, dude.
Well, hey,
what's up, man.
Speaking of that, actually, I want to ask you guys, what's the most? Y'all are very godly individuals. You know, come from that background. what's the most ungodly situation y'all been in as a band? Like, what is like a venue, something you're in a scene, and just something crazy happens?
I think that Boone show that got shut down, just the amount of drugs.
Yeah, so
I wasn't there for that.
no, yeah, he wasn't there for
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, you were.
Was it?
That's the one that
Yeah.
got shut down.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't even
yeah,
get to
yeah.
play that got shut
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, so it was a house show. It's a house show in Boone. I was at the spot called the Burrow, and it's just like it's a garage that's separate from whoever's house it was. I don't even know whose house it was. And they'd pack out the garage, and so many people would come see live music that the people would be lined up out into the driveway.
Whoa.
Started raining, and my buddy Duke was about to play his set, and we hear like a loud noise, and all of a sudden there's like cops out on the main road, like addressing a car accident. Well, obviously there's loud ass music and like people walking around, and like, you know, just a bunch of bad decisions happening, and so the cops kind of get a whiff of what's going on literally and come over and like shut it all down. But I mean, there's girls on the porch like doing Molly, just like damn near having sex with each other. I'm just like, bro, like you know, there's people like there's people in the house like jock dudes like doing coke and shit, and like I'm like, bro, this is like not what we do. Like, you know? Yeah, we came to play a show, and then sheriff's office comes up and shuts everything down before we can even play, and it's pissing rain. There's mud everywhere. We're slipping. Javon and I, man, fuck you! Like throwing our cases and shit. Yeah. And we drove home, and I think Anant always brings this up. Like, we didn't talk for like the whole first hour of the drive back. We were just that mad.
It was that was probably the most. Go back to like the
mission failed.
Mission failed. Going back to like you asked about like friction between us. It wasn't between us, but it was just like
We're just pissed off.
let's all take a second.
Y'all
Chill.
knew what was going on. You don't have to say a word.
Hey man, I can imagine because it was raining heavy. You know, Javon's hair was probably like to the shoulders. His beard was probably down here. There was holding extra weight with the water. You know?
I backlined my drums for that gig,
That's
and
true.
I had to. And so like two bands played, so they played my kit, and then they were like, "Y'all gonna have to go, like, bye." And I was like,
And just the fact that like there was just a sheer amount of like substances that, you know, like keep it safe, bro. Like BYOB, BYOW, like that's it. Like keep it at that. But like the fact that people of all genders are just fucking on each other, literally, just like unashamedly. I'm just like, ew. Like, I'm just, like, just get a room, bro. Like all of y'all. And so that was one thing. And then the other like crazy thing, we were playing a house show in Greensboro at a spot called Ice House, legendary. This is the place where I told you they had to reinforce the floor because like everything's been jumping. We're in there. We play our set, and a really cool band. I think was it Black House?
Black House.
Yeah. They were gonna play after us, and they did. But there was this girl, and she was just drunk, the drunkest ever. She was like, "Could y'all help me find my keys?" Just completely tweaking. And so I get on the mic. I'm like, "Hey, bro, like, I'm like, girl lost your keys. Could y'all help her find them?" And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, sure." And she found it. She's like, "Thank you so much." She slams the door and she goes outside, and we see her walk into her car, and we're like, "Ooh." No. So my buddy Sanquan and I go over there, and we're like, "Hey, you know, like you're really drunk. We don't think it's a good idea. You mind if you just like hand us your keys and we may find you a ride home? You can stay parked here. Like it's not a problem." And she's like, "Don't tell me what to fucking do. Y'all are so rude. Y'all are kicking us out." I'm like, "Bro, like you just chill out. Like it's fine." She gets in her car, cranks it up. I'm behind it. I'm like, "Look, she's gonna kill somebody if she drives like this." So I don't fuck with police, but and for other people's safety, I took a picture of the license plate. I'm behind the car. Sanquan is standing near the driver's door trying to get her to pull the keys out the car. She runs over his foot and almost runs over me, and then goes flying down the street and like just swerving, like going crazy. Luckily, she didn't crash or like kill anybody that night. But then her boyfriend just realized that she got stopped by police and got breathalyzed and like detained and all this stuff. And he's a little twerp, like he ain't gonna do shit. But he went down to the bar that's like on like 2 blocks away, and goes to the bartender and said, "I'm gonna call up a gang and get them to light that bitch up."
Bro.
And I'm like,
that was the end of that entire show.
And so, you know, one of the girls that lived at the house comes up to me and she's like, "Yo, like there's like kind of like a shooting threat." And I was like,
Hey, so like,
and she was like, we gotta get some people out of here. And I'm like, bro, okay. And so like, I'm like, for y'all's safety, you know, like,
Get the fuck out.
so actually, yeah, so the Black House did not perform that night. That was in our set. That was while we were performing.
I remember watching, I was playing, and I was watching Sanquan come up and like whisper shit in Birdie's ear, and I was like, this can't be good. Fuck.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, so everyone get out. Everybody get out. And it was just like, evacuate. Like,
I'm talking like people had to find places to stay because they drove out of town to come see us play at that house and all this stuff. And I'm over here like, you know, grabbing tools for the situation and shit. I'll say it that way, you know, but like, you know, like I'm just
getting a drill bit. He had to undo the stage.
You know what I'm talking about? You gotta have, you know, handy tools. But anyway, you know, it's just the fact that the shit was going crazy. And I'm outside like telling people, all right, drive this way, and like looking out, making sure nothing's happening. Police were called. It was just insane. And the fact that people have to just like get so unbelievably fucked up at these events to the point where they endanger others. It's just stupid. And I made a statement about it like the next night. I'm like, bro, like if any of y'all come with some like violent shit, some like sexual assault shit or anything like that, like I'm gonna handle it. And like if it's violent, you don't want to know how I'm gonna handle it because like we're on some pull up shit. Except for Nut, he's very peaceful. But like the other three of us, like nah.
Well, guys, I think we are starting to get to that time. Yeah, like, where are we at right now? Like,
we gotta wrap.
Yeah. So, but guys, this has been the Next Up podcast again with your host Ezra the actor, Simon the film man, or whatever, you know. What I'm saying? Your boy Young Blocco in the back, and you know our very, very special guest Condado. And thank y'all for being with us.
Before we go, is there anything y'all want to shout out? Anything y'all want to plug?
Yeah.
Alright, so first and foremost, we did not talk a whole lot about the music, but if you want to go hear some of the music, you can go on any streaming platform, look up Condado. You'll find some EPs and some singles and stuff. We are in the process of re-recording all of our old stuff and putting it on one really big record with a merch drop and physical copies and all this stuff, which is stuff that we haven't really done before, and you know it's about time. So stay tuned for that. Early summer is when that's gonna happen. You can follow us on any social media platform at CONDADONC. That's Condado NC, and you can keep track of where we're playing next. We played 9 shows in April, super busy, and we're slowing it down this May so we can focus on finishing up this record, so y'all can hear a more accurate representation of what we sound like nowadays, especially with the new lineup and you know better mixing and all that stuff. And all I gotta say is that if you want to come out to one of these shows, just know that the days of things being crazy and sketchy and violent and stuff is over. We have absolutely no tolerance for anything like that. And you know, it's a great environment for you to come be yourself and enjoy some pretty cool music from some really diverse and just different people and different styles of music that you maybe never heard before. So just support your local art, go out to your local shows, be smart, be safe, be respectful, and yeah, that's what we're about.
All right.
Do you want to mention that show you guys got coming up in South Carolina? I think it is.
Oh yeah, that one like bigger show. Yeah, that's our first out of state show.
You know more about that.
Wait, when is it coming up? 'Cause
he was saying that y'all were gonna shout out y'all show in South Carolina, and that is going to be when?
So our first out of state show ever is going to be in South Carolina in Greenville at the Radio Room in celebration of our friend Mabel Kitchens' birthday. She's a local legend when it comes to booking and like putting bands on and things like that. And that's gonna be June 10th in Greenville, South Carolina. So definitely shout out that, and any other shows we got nearby, they'll be on the Instagram. We'll post flyers and stuff. But real quick, what or who do y'all want to shout out?
Shout out my baby boy. He ain't even old enough to hear none of it, but you know, at some point, I just had a baby.
What? Congrats! Wow.
All this is possible, man. With you find the right person, you'll do whatever. But all this is definitely possible through all of it. So
that's facts, man.
Facts.
Shout out baby Joe.
Shout out my niece. Both of them. Both of them. They be thrashing to our music, bro. I get videos from them every now and again. Layla, Malia, my sister Michaela, my mom, my dad. I'm cool with everybody else. I just don't got time to shout out.
Shout out my parents for letting us make noise in the house.
Hell yeah, there's noise for sure.
For letting us just invade your domain and be loud as shit. But and then I guess I never shouted out anybody. Shout out my mother first and foremost. Shout out my abuela, rest in peace. Shout out my girlfriend Loxy, extremely supportive. Shout out to all my friends who said I was gonna do it and said I'm not doing it. You're just gonna see. This is where it's at, man. Condado means county in Spanish, and we are putting independent music and unique art on the map, and that's what it's about.
They should have like, comment, subscribe, do all that.
Smash that like button. You already know what the fuck going on.
Y'all want to go ahead and sign the door?
Oh hell yeah!
But hey, leave the middle for J. Cole. We trying to get J. Cole on here.
A huge goal for us, but we think that it is obtainable in a certain amount of time.
Shut the fuck up! We getting J. Cole on that.
We are. I just said it's a goal. I never said if.
Hey, can we get a quick thumbnail real quick?
Yeah, I want to.
3, 2, 1. Jeez, nigga.